Greetings. This is Mama Mawusi Ashakir with the Mothership, and I am excited to work with you today in this beautiful Mother's Childbirth Education class. I'm going to um, share with you my screen first because I really wanted to go in and discuss the ways that your body is changing throughout this process. Oh my gosh, it's just so much that you really didn't even realize how much your body was changing until you didn't realize how much your body was changing until you started to feel the discomfort each month from the change. What we are seeing in our bodies, remember in the first trimester, if you think back, the first trimester, the first week through the 12th week, your body began a whole hormonal dance that it went through. This hormonal dance was one in which you would feel things, but you took your pregnancy test, you felt a lot excited, you felt the whole energy of things, but you didn't really see your belly swelling yet. But what you did see was your breast did swell. You did feel a little overwhelmed with certain things. You might have noticed that you went to the bathroom a lot more. You might have also noticed that you were a little lightheadedness every now and then. Had a little lightheadedness. You might have felt nausea. I have to add that on there. I didn't put that there, but you might have felt some nausea. You might have noticed that your breasts were getting bigger. The lightheadedness is due to the expanded blood volume. What is that? What does that mean to have an expanded blood volume? Well, it means that you have extra blood that is kept in your liver. And when it is kept, what's in your liver is literally probably a quart, almost, depending on how big you are, but almost a quart of blood. This quart of blood this quart of blood then gets pushed into your, okay, I'm sorry, someone's trying to get in and they can't get in. Let me get them in first. Okay. But this quart of blood is literally, there we go. This quart of blood, more or less, is literally so important. It is cleansed through your liver. And as it is cleansed in your liver, it is then held and stored there. There we go. Okay. Okay, all is good now. She's probably good now. Okay. As it is stored in your liver, you will find that once a mother gets pregnant and conceived, she will begin to feel just a little heady and a little, kind of like it says dizzy. But the reason why is because the extra blood in your blood stream now is causing these different reactions. It's also diluting your bloodstream. So it's almost like a lot more water in your bloodstream and a lot more, because definitely a lot more fluid going through your body. This can also cause a dilution of the extra hormones that pregnancy may cause. It may also have response. It may respond in you looking more glowy. Now people say, "Oh, she's glowing because she's pregnant." Well, that is probably due to the excess blood in your system. It also may have to do with your hands being a lot more red. You're seeing a lot more circulation in your hands and feet. You're gonna see that. You may also find that you may begin to gain more weight a lot easier, but that is also depending on if you feel nauseous and you can't eat, or you feel just fine and you can't eat. You know, those things matter. But if most people, if they can't eat, they tend to eat more during that time. Some people might even have heartburn. Also, I wanted to throw that in there because of hormonal changes in the body. Those hormonal changes tends to slow down the process of digestion. I also want you, some people may even feel tired during that time. I want you to be very conscious of yourself back then, because possibly you felt more tired during that time because of the hormones that were going through your body, extra blood volume, heart is doing more work, things like this, and that may make you a little more tired. Things tends to slow down. During your second trimester, which most of you are in now, you might notice breast changes, thus your breasts are feeling fuller. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. For me, it took me until like the third baby before my breast really made a substantial difference, but I could see a substantial difference in my breast. But also you will see skin changes and stretch in the form of stretch marks or discolorations. And those stretch marks are, you might, like I said, look a little more glowy. You might look a little more, even in your face changes to the extent that your nose may look different, your cheeks may look different, things like this. Your stomach may begin to have stretch marks or discolorations there. You might begin to see the line that comes up from your pelvic bone all the way up to your navel. You might see it darken. You know, those things happen during pregnancy. You may see striations in your skin, the streaks on your belly, not just the stretch marks, but literally like brown, darker brown streaks that come up to your belly or on your breast. You might see those things. These are pigment marks that tend to come as a result of the hormonal changes in your body. And the stretch marks are due to the quick stretching of your body to accommodate the baby. So some things that I suggest for that is to keep some shea butter or some olive oil or some type of whole oil in the bathroom. So when you sit down to have a bowel movement, then you can rub your belly and hips and breast if you can while you're sitting there. Those things help. Also your back, your lower back, things you can reach, you know, and just rub yourself. It'll help you to, one, relax, and to two, to allow your bowels, to give you time for your bowels to move good and completely. When your body relaxes and you go into a slower breathing pattern while massaging, you will notice that your body will release a lot better. Take your time when you're in there too. Also, you may notice that your back, pelvis, and hips ache. There may even be some leg pains or Charlie horses in the middle of the night. This is due to now the requirement of more calcium for your baby. So you will definitely need to take the extra calcium, and then also get a massage. Massaging yourself as well as getting a massage is key to surviving the back and the pelvis and hip aches. The thing is that you'll be finding the leg pain may be due to the way that you're sleeping or the nerve that you may be sleeping on. It is very important that you sleep, don't sleep on your back, but you definitely want to sleep on your left side. Okay. I also want you to watch out for your ankles, your hands, ankles, and face any swelling during the second trimester, because this is a serious time of fluid retention, and it's also time for slower blood circulation. Be conscious of that. I want you to also drink a lot more water. I also want you to pay close attention. I said Charlie horses, that's the calcium. Leg pains, that can be pinched nerves. Be conscious of that. Hip aches, pelvis and back aches can be due to just the way that you've been standing, walking, your posture in relation to pregnancy. These things really matter, very much so. So you definitely want to correct those things or help you to sit up straight. If their belly is becoming more of a weight, then once you hit around the 28th week, or the uh, uh, around the 25th, 26th, 27th week, you might want to get a pregnancy band or belt. It's kind of like a waist trainer, but one for during pregnancy, and it helps you to sustain better posture for a lot longer, and it also helps take some of the weight off so that you are not in under strain when carrying. Also, extra weight gain is a thing. You want to be conscious of that, because if you, let's say, are not having any problems, any nausea problems during your pregnancy, well, a lot of times we tend to eat a lot more. And so that way the weight tends to pile on a lot faster. Be conscious of that. So because you want to have a steady weight gain, not too fast, not too much, but just a steady weight gain. I also want you to be conscious of loose teeth. That sounds crazy, right? Even gums bleeding. This can happen because we are literally giving our calcium to our baby is leaching calcium from our body. And as they leach the calcium and nutrients from our body, our gums and teeth tend to react in that. So if there is some tendency for your gums to bleed a little, then they'll bleed a lot more during pregnancy. First of all, they're going to bleed a lot more. Gingivitis is a bigger deal in pregnancy because you have the expanded blood volume. So you're going to have expanded blood volume even in your gums. So when you brush your teeth, it's going to cause it to bleed more. In the event that you have those, when you feel that the loose teeth, is because when the pregnancy hormones affect the ligaments and bones in your body, to loosen them, it loosens the pelvis, but it also loosens your teeth. And that sounds crazy, but it's true. So we tend to have more loose teeth during the time of birth, labor, also. So when they say to me, this is something I always say to moms, is that the labor of a baby, we often think that the labor happens at the end when we're bringing the baby into the world, but actually the labor is happening during the pregnancy. It's during the whole pregnancy. It's a lot to deal with. Even nasal congestion, sinus issues, those are a deal too. So I really want you to be very conscious of that, because this sounds crazy, but the expanded blood volume can cause the mucous membranes in your nose to feel engorged. Thus, you feel like your sinuses are just acting a fool. Just a lot going on. It honestly, with a healthy diet, you should not have swollen ankles, hands, face, or feet. You should not have it, not even in your 9th month of pregnancy. Even with the expanded blood volume, your body should not look swollen. Okay. but it is with the consumption of salty and acid-based foods, acidic foods, which are in the form of meats, dairy, in the form of, and when I say meats, not just red meats, but poultry, fish, all of that is included in the form of processed foods, artificial colors, artificial flavors. Those things do a different thing with your body chemistry. They do something different. And what the difference that they do is that they add an amount, they make it imbalanced amount of acid in your body, causing your bloodstream to move a lot slower and your body to literally hold on to a lot more water. And you literally hold a lot more water weight, which puts a lot more pressure on your heart, causing you to have preeclampsia or some type of edema or swelling. So then we go into our third trimester of bodily changes between the 29th and 40th week, and we're going to have more Braxton Hicks contractions. I want you to be conscious of these Braxton Hicks contractions because they feel very interesting as your stomach will begin to tighten, go through its process, and then gradually loosen. That'll be kind of deep to you because some people have never felt that before, and some people have felt it, have had many children. But when you feel this tightening, you will notice that it's at first it's just a tightening, like a tightening of a muscle. And then as you get into your full eighth, you've already passed up the 8th month, now you're going into the 9th month, then sometimes it'll come to where it takes your breath away. And the difference between a Braxton Hicks contraction and a real contraction, a practice contraction and a real contraction, is the practice contraction emanates from the top of your stomach. A real contraction emanates from your back, and it comes around. You'll feel the heat come around your belly. You'll feel the tightening at the bottom of your uterus first. And that's when there's a difference between a real and a Braxton Hicks contraction. Both of them can take your breath away. Both of them can become long, seem kind of long, seem like they last, kind of long. But what we're looking for in the real contractions is that they are longer and stronger, that they have an intensity. So you'll know more about that because if we keep on going with this class, if you keep on following through, even if you drop off and come back in January, I'm still going to be doing the class, and I'll be talking more about that in January as you all become closer to your due dates, because most of you all are due in February and March. Well, some people may be a little later, but I'll be talking more about it in 2022. Moods, tiredness, and dizziness. Because of the elevated blood volume, the extra blood volume, you may feel a little dizzy, mainly because the glycogen in your system also is a little thrown off when your body turns the starches you're consuming into sugars. When it's turning the foods that you're eating into energy, it's going to be a little thrown off. You're going to be a little thrown off a little bit. And sometimes we tend to have a little what is considered hypoglycemia. In some cases, like when we would feel that way if we don't eat what it is our body is craving. Sometimes our body literally is craving a specific thing, and if we don't eat that thing, then we'll be off too. Sometimes dizzy. Sometimes we're dizzy because it's too hot, or we have not eaten, or we have not drank enough. Be conscious of that. It's like you have to become manually conscious of everything during pregnancy, because it all matters. The synergy of it all matters. The synergy of it all matters. Oh, okay. Here we go. So, um, the tiredness that you may experience has something to do with just the carrying around the extra baby with you and the weight. And in some cases, you might be dealing with some nausea and things like this, and it's just so overwhelming. In other cases, it could be because you're carrying, because the hormones of the child that you're carrying. In some cases, I found that when I was very tired a lot and I didn't do a lot, I was carrying the boy. But when I did a whole lot and I was getting around and I was really busy and coming up with more things to do, I was carrying the girl. And that's probably because for me, estrogen works well in my body. So more estrogen, I was feeling fine. But when I had was having a boy, then it was more. It just kind of wreaked more havoc for me. So, but that does not necessarily mean it has to happen for everyone. But as you have children, I want you to pay close attention because your body, everybody's body is different, and women's bodies tend to carry differently. So don't necessarily believe all wives' tales, but pay close attention to yours, your story. So I hope everybody is journaling because that's really key for us. Also, we may be very moody and emotional. We may have really during the third trimester become more, you will note, and when you get to the third trimester, feeling more emotional. I want you to pay attention even now to your dreams. Pay very close attention to your dreams and what they're saying to you, because a lot of those dreams are prophetic dreams, or even help give you better understanding of what is going on in your life. So pay close attention. And if you need help and support in deciphering a dream, let me know. I can support that, even if you write it in the group and we can talk about it. But dreams are really important. Also, back aches are another key thing because your belly has now, between this time now, 6 months through the seventh month and eighth month. Ooh, your belly literally grows exponentially in that time frame. So I want you to really pay a lot of attention and to not skimp on your yoga, because as your belly grows, you want that belly to grow in alignment. You want your body to be in alignment with that belly growth rather than being sedentary. You want to, as much as you can, get up and move to allow your body to expand and be a part of that expanding. Now, don't just let it expand beyond your control. Be doing your yoga so that you can be in alignment with that. Also, while doing that yoga, it should support in helping your bowels to move and eliminate better too. You want that help. You want to get good, even weight gain and an even distribution of weight over your whole body. Like I was saying, watch out for swelling of hands and face and feet, especially after the 29th and 30th week, because you're going to be watching to make sure that your heart rate stays normal. So you're gonna be watching for that, as well as dizziness and things like this, because those things tell us about eclampsia or high blood pressure in those next months. Also, it tells us, the dizziness tells us about uh, uh, gestational diabetes. It does not necessarily um, mean that you have gestational diabetes, doesn't mean that you will have diabetes. What it means is that you're having a problem processing sugars throughout the pregnancy. So dizziness is one of those telltale signs that something is going on. So I want you to contact your healthcare provider in that event that you have extra dizziness, that you can't necessarily shake, you know. You might look for tingling, stinging, or numbness in the hands, feet, or legs, those, or even arms. That tells us about nerves, and it can also tell us about where the baby may be laying on a nerve, or the baby may be uh, right there at a nerve, or the way you're sitting or the way you're laying matters. So pay close attention to that. It talks about that tingling and stinging. Numbness tells us about pinched nerves. So what I want you to do in that is to make sure that you're doing your yoga. pay close attention to how your yoga can readjust your body so that you're not just getting beat up by these numb feelings or tingling hands or feet, because what it could be is your posture. It's pinching a nerve, so it's very important that we pay close attention. Also, varicose veins. Ask your parents, your mother, if she had varicose veins during her pregnancy. Because of the expanded blood volume, that extra quart of blood that's being put into the bloodstream during pregnancy, it could cause the veins to bulge and to ripple, and to where you can see them on the skin level. You want to be mindful of this. So as you're massaging your body, I want you to like pay attention. That could be the case. Also, when if you have them, massage can help them. Can that bring it down? You might need some sort of medicinal shea butter or something or oil, to the extent to kind of help with pain management, or even to help it to relax some. But pretty much you're going to be dealing with varicose veins until after you have the baby. So you're going to do a number of things like ice them down or to massage them. That's what helps with that. It can just help them not to be painful. The shortness of breath. Shortness of breath. I want to watch you for the shortness of breath, because it should, like, let's say you come up the steps. Okay, and coming up the steps, okay, that's normal. But and you might have it for a amount of time, but I want you to pay attention for how long does it take you to recover with the shortness of breath. Or let's say you weren't even going up them and down the steps, you were just sitting there. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, you're just sitting there. Pay attention. Go inside of yourself and see, what's my heart doing at this time. This will happen during the third trimester, and I want you to be aware of it. And then make sure to, if you, after you recover and you go into the talk to your doctor, pay attention, talk to your doctor to say that this happens to you. Be conscious of it, and be conscious. It does not necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with you, but so therefore you don't need to go to the emergency room, but just be conscious of that, because that matters. Maybe you're having some heart palpitations or something like that, and the doctor needs to test you and see about that. And in your late second trimester and third trimester, you might find yourself a little clumsy and have poor balance. I want you to be mindful, excuse me, of your balance, and supporting yourself at every chance. If you see a railing, it's for you. If you need help getting into the tub, ask. If you need support in any way, make sure that you ask, because you do need to receive that help. Pay attention to your, if there are hemorrhoids or anything like that. Be conscious of that. Any bleeding from the anus generally manifests as a result of hemorrhoids or something like that. You definitely want to take good care. If that's the case, it may be just the baby is really big, or that it may also mean that your bowel movement is very dry and you might be in need of a lot more water. That's another thing. A big thing during this time, to eliminate excess weight gain, to eliminate um, uh, the maybe the issues even with that deal with eclampsia, like migraine headaches, dizziness, seeing stars, things like this. These things can come up as a result of pre-eclampsia or high blood pressure. But check it out. Drinking a lot of water per day, like at least 64 ounces of water, and possibly eating 2 salads a day, one with lunch and dinner, those things can change the game for you, and they can help you with any type of eclampsia that you may have, as well as help your bowels to move more effectively. So it's really very, very important that you assess that. Yay, it worked. It's really very, very important that you assess that what you're feeling and how that feels in your inside of you, what's going on with you. Pay close attention to all of those things. And if you come into a point where you're like, huh, I've been feeling this regularly, then and you're like, this doesn't feel right, ask. We can work it out. It's very important though that you tell someone what you're feeling so that you can get help. Mainly because during pregnancy we tend to have foggy pregnancy brain, and that pregnancy brain is um, pretty much just kind of making us, even though it's like a duh moment, nobody can really talk about you because it's not easy. It's not easy to deal with that pregnancy. It's not easy to put it all into perspective. So getting help is important. Yeah. So if there are any questions, please let me know. If there are any, if there are any questions that you have, please let me know. Um, I also want to introduce you to some bed yoga, some yoga that you can do laying down on your couch or laying down in the bed. Very good for you to not have to take away all of your excuses. My intention is to take away all of your excuses so that you can literally have this pregnancy, go through this pregnancy, knowing what you need to know so that you can be very well informed and that you can also navigate it with ease. So also, if there are any issues or problems that you may have and need help with, let me know. Don't hesitate and don't feel anything is embarrassing or that it's never been heard before. Just trust me. During my 7 pregnancies specifically, I've been through a lot. But not only that, during my 20 years of birth, I've got a lot to support you with. So that's what the laying laying on your bed takes away any excuses from getting in the yoga. So as you're laying there, think about laying on your left side. And as you're just laying there watching television or something, you can be sitting there with your knees bent and just lifting. As you lift your knee, you're opening your hips. Give yourself 10 reps of that. And then rest it. Roll over to the other side and give yourself 10 reps on your right side too. You know, 10 reps on your right side too. Be very gentle on yourself as you open out that leg. And then, yes, then you're going to, yes. And then as you lay your legs straight out flat, and you're going to lay down in a comfortable position, you're going to point your toes and lift. Yeah. Make sure you get both legs. Yeah. And then roll over and do the 10 on the other side. This helps in the hip area very much. We stay a lot focused on the hip area because the hip area is where we tend to be the most misaligned. Then the next area, after we get 10 on both sides, I only can see I only can see Kenyatta, so I'm gonna wait till she's done until I go to the next exercise. Yeah, and you can literally feel that in your hips there. You can literally feel it in the inside of your growing area. That's interesting how you can do that. It lets us know that, yeah, we do need to stretch there. Then if we can, come up on all fours and just bow, but on our forearms, yes, and stretch our back. Bow and stretch our back. You want to do about 10 of those. And then open your knees wide and lay back, letting your belly go down between your knees, down between your knees. Stretching your shoulders. Keep your shoulders stretched. Keep your shoulders stretched out in front of you so that you can feel that stretch in between your two shoulder blades. Good. As you come up on all fours, you're now going to keep this knee bent and you're going to pump it. You're going to take it up, hold it like this, flex your toes, and you're going to do those kicks. You want to go straight up because what this helps is this part, the front part of your thigh. So you're going to go straight up. It's just kind of a pulse. But what this also does is it strengthens your core. Bring it down. You might feel some pelvic like see what your pelvis does, And if you can't do so many, it's okay to just do as many as you can. And get the other foot too. Get that other side too. Good. Then as we take that right arm out, we're going to bring it through our arm and place our shoulder down on the bed in order to get that nice body stretch. And if that feels easy to you, lift your arm for the nice spinal twist. And come back down. And come back out. Yes. Good. Do that on each side. Good. And come back out. You're going to bend and bow and flex your back again. Bow and flex your back. And belly, even open your knees out further so that you can really feel your belly down in there. Good. And as you come, bring yourself into a seated position. And just see the goddess in yourself as you are not one person, but yet you are two. You have two brains right now. You have two hearts and four lungs. And you have a greater capacity to love. You are full and filled with love right now. Just feel the energy just from that little bit that we did. Just feel the energy running through your hands right now. Yes, You place it over your belly. Make sure your baby feels it too. Yeah, because we are extra special right now. I want you to see that, fully embrace that. Let it be okay to say, I'm extra special right now. Yeah, yeah. And they, even that little bit of yoga, if you just do that little bit of yoga, getting the blood flow going and getting the movement going, you know, it'll help you to want to do some more. You get you some neck twists going on, some neck rotations, and some shoulder rotations going on. Make sure that no muscle group should be trapped, should be stuck, should be cracking and popping. You should be able to easily rotate. You want to keep the flow when you're pregnant. That's the objective. Keep the flow. That keeps a good blood flow getting to your baby. That means your baby gets oxygen. That means your baby gets food and nutrients. That means your baby's able to eliminate waste with blood flow. So you can't just be stagnant. You want to keep moving as best you can. Even if it is minimally, you got to do as much as you can in that minimal amount of time that you're feeling like movement. Meaning that, you know how we get tired and things like that when we're carrying our babies? Well, you do what you can in that time, but make sure you get good blood flow, you know? And this yoga in the bed helps us to take away excuses. And my intention is every time that we meet, we're going to be doing some yoga and some breath work, meditation work, and things like, or meditation work. We'll be going into these classes. Look forward to them more. As a matter of fact, I asked if we could really just stay in sisterhood with each other as much as we can, because I want to support you all through to the birth and beyond your baby, with your babies. And so I'm very excited about our little group and whatever it takes to accommodate you. You guys just let me know. So
Thank you, Ma.
yes, that's what I have for you all today. And
Thank
I'm so
you.
grateful. Thank you. Oh wow, how'd you do that, Akita? You can put a heart? That's pretty live. That's what. Well, I love y'all so much. So we're gonna be back in here next Saturday in the Zoom room next Saturday, because I think with winters we do want to stay cozy unless y'all really want to get together in live and in living color. I probably will try to I was gonna do a community blessing way for you all, so it'd probably be at the beginning of February or something, or January. So gonna do a community blessing way. So ask if everybody can come out for that for you all and to do some beautiful things. So if you feel it, also, I have Mothership t-shirts for sale. So if you're interested in those, let me know. And